Thank you, moderator. To my colleague, Ambassador Silk of the Marshall Islands, to my fellow panelists, colleague panelists, and to all of you who are here, on behalf of the permanent mission of Kiribati to the United Nations, I would like to express my sincere thanks for the organizers' decision to invite me to be part of this panel. Of course, a panel on nuclear tests, to discuss the problems suffered by people, victims of nuclear testing, and the problems suffered by the environment in which nuclear tests or nuclear weapons were used or tested is a very important matter to Kiribati. Very important because Kiribati is one of the places where nuclear tests were conducted. About 40 nuclear tests were conducted between the 1950s and the 1960s. The test was carried out first by the British government and then by the United States government. So the two countries at the time believed they were doing good for humanity. They wanted to save the world from the tyranny of dictatorship, the tyranny of people who did not know the difference between good and bad. They claimed they were the good people. The Americans and the British said they're good people. They want to save the good people like themselves. And they wanted to be sure that the bad people never win any wars in the future. So there was that Cold War. And the Cold War, of course, was really spearheaded by the nuclear powers on both sides. And as a result, a lot of people, about 200 people in Christmas Island were involved. They were there to do work. They were working on the copra plantation, planting coconut trees, and doing a lot of other work, doing fisheries for the government at that time. It was a colonial time. Colonial government was running the country. And because of the coal power, the tensions in those days, the British and the Americans decided to use Christmas Island, where about 200 people were working, our own people. And so they suffered a lot. They still suffer up to today. This has made the Kiribati government become very serious, has become a member of the TPNW, the Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. And we've taken it seriously. And we have become a core group, part of the core group of the TPNW on Articles 6 and 7. We have worked so hard on that. See, we have agreed to recommend to the United Nations and the international community the setting up of an international trust fund, a trust fund that will help the victims of nuclear testing, such as those in Christmas Island, the Marshall Islands, and in other parts, French Polynesia, in Australia, and other parts of the world. And so we have taken this issue very seriously because our people were affected, still affected up to this point in time. We know the nuclear bombs were not exploded there. They were just tests, but the nuclear bombs were actually exploded, detonated on Japan. We know about that. That's history. And we know that the Japanese people suffered a lot very heavily. About 250,000 people lost their lives or were affected. And we know also that Japan and the other countries are still deciding to join the TPNW. We hope they will join the TPNW, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which we believe is the most effective way of dealing with the aftermath of nuclear testing, nuclear use and testing. However, we're very pleased to find the Marshall Islands coming forward. The Marshallese Education Institute, MEI, is also doing a great work there. We also appreciate the effort of the Marshallese ambassador. They are my ambassador here, Ambassador Shell. They're all working in the direction where we are already working on. We would like to see all of you, Japan, the Marshall Islands, Tahiti, and all the others, like all of you to join the TPNW one day. If we do, then we will work together. We will join forces together. At the moment, there's a gap between the two of us. Our side, we're in the TPNW, you're not. And I do ask that you make efforts in Japan, in the Marshall Islands, and in the other parts of the world to all come together so we can all work together to ensure that the victims of nuclear use and testing are dealt with in a combined and collective manner. At the moment, there are different ways of approaching it. We believe the US government has done better than the British. They already agreed, I believe, to attend to the damages that had been done to Bikini Atoll. The British, however, on the other side, are still far away. They're still not accepting the liabilities that were caused by their testing. They still argue against the veterans who claim, but when the veterans come up with complaints about the nuclear testing, they will say, no, it's just a normal illness, just normal illness. It's nothing to do with the test, which of course is against the science that we know of. The science tells us that when the nuclear tests are carried out, when the nuclear bombs are used, they go down to the nuclear level of the DNA, the gene, the genetic structure is disrupted. And when these are disrupted, then you have consequences that do not happen straight away. They may carry on for months, years, even generations after the blasts were carried out. And so Kiribati is very determined to provide you whatever support we can provide. At this stage, we are doing our best within the context of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, TPNW. As I said, we take the lead in many of these decisions. Together with Kazakhstan, we're working hard to make sure that there is nuclear justice, that people who cause damage on the health of people, on the environment of these countries, do pay up. That is what I consider to be nuclear justice. Nuclear justice means whoever causes the damage should pay for the damage. It's not the other way around. I know there are ideas from our friends, Marshall Islands especially. They believe that the current setup of the TPNW is not good enough because it's like when you're hit on the road in the traffic. You will pay for yourself. You pay for your own wounds. That's not right. There's no justice there. Whoever hits you on the road must pay for your damage, must pay for the injury. And that is a good argument to take forward. I hope there will be a way to amend the TPNW in the future to take care of that concern. But at the moment, this is the setup. We start ourselves, we help ourselves first, and then we reach out to those who might have caused the damage. So with these few words, I'd like to assure you that Kiribati is fully behind what you do. Well, let's hope we can come together one day and be together on a treaty. At the moment, we are not. Let's hope we come together. Japan must join TPNW, Marshall Islands, and others. We must all join forces on the TPNW and then work on making sure we amend the TPNW to go along, to make sure there's nuclear justice. Thank you. I wish you all the best.